My name is Karuana Gatimu, and welcome to SharePoint Television. I work for Microsoft IT in the Discovery and Collaboration Group, and I'm thrilled to be here having an opportunity to interview more of the luminaries of the SharePoint community. For those of you who this may be your first SharePoint conference, the SharePoint community is a thriving worldwide group of many, many people and events. Can we start over? I just totally blew that. I have no idea where I was going with that at all. That was just really, it's my first one. That was really good. Okay. Hi, my name is Karuana Gatimu, and welcome to SharePoint Television. I work in Microsoft IT's Discovery and Collaboration Group, and I have the great privilege to be here today with two more luminaries from the SharePoint community. I'd like to introduce to you Mark Rhodes and Debbie Ireland, who are going to share with us some of their experiences about the international SharePoint community. For those of you who are interested, you'll be able to catch highlights of this segment on channel 36 in your room. So welcome. I'm really glad both of you are here. Debbie, will you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in community?
Sure. I'm from New Zealand and I'm a SharePoint MVP, and I originally got involved in the community, I think, 2006 or something, and found out that there were all these user groups and so forth around, and I went to a conference in Australia that Microsoft, I think, organised in 2007 and decided that New Zealand needed something like that. And so went back and then got together with a few of the other community members, and we put on the first New Zealand conference, and it's just grown and grown since then. We've got, I think, 6 SharePoint user groups in New Zealand. And the conferences we now do every year in New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, and Hong Kong.
That's so impressive. How fun. And you just listed all the places I want to go and visit, so I'll have to make a tour there. Mark, you want to tell us a little bit about your journey?
Sure. My name is Mark Rhodes. I'm a SharePoint Server MVP and a senior consultant for a company in Australia called OBS. I initially got into the community because I figured that it's Australia. We've got a large community of crocodiles, snakes, spiders, things that want to really scare tourists, and they weren't collaborating effectively to really scare the tourists the best way they could. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, you're freaking me out. If you start, you see the fear in my eyes when you started talking about spiders?
Yeah, you started backing off a little bit.
I know, I'm backing away, right, exactly. No, that's excellent. I think that there's so many, I think that people here in the United States sometimes don't realize how vibrant the international community is and how much they're sharing information. Do you see some parity between the kinds of topics you have in international community, either conferences or SharePoint user groups, versus what you have here, Debbie?
Definitely some of the same, but then it's always really, really good at our local conferences and user groups to actually hear local stories, I think, because we have a lot smaller populations, smaller company sizes, different cultures and so forth, so I think that our local content is really, really important. But we do get a little bit of everything, you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And what's your experience with that?
I actually find that the issues that we're experiencing locally are generally the same issues that people are experiencing all around the world. The challenges that they face will be the same, whether it be in Brisbane, Sydney, Adelaide, or whether it be in Ireland or, say, somewhere in America.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think that, really driving adoption and having great business productivity is what we're all trying to do. So it doesn't necessarily matter where we are, but I think it's great to be sensitive to local issues, right? That's an important component. So what kinds of events are going to be coming up in the areas that you're working in, Debbie?
Next year we've got 5 events. So we're starting in January with a SharePoint conference in Singapore, and we've got a one-day event January the 14th in Hong Kong. And actually it's really cool because all of the events that we do are organised by community leaders and by MVPs. Mark's a big part of the organiser team, so it means that we sort of pick and choose all our content based on our personal experience. We're all knee-deep in using SharePoint, and as I'm a SharePoint trainer, and everyone on the team is very much focused around that. Then we've got New Zealand in April, Sydney in April, and then in Melbourne in June. And that's just the conferences. We've also got SharePoint Saturdays. Mark can probably speak a little bit more about SharePoint Saturdays in Australia.
That's great. Yeah, tell us, Mark. Tell us about that.
Yep, so we've, for the last few years, had lots of SharePoint Saturday events, and for anyone who doesn't know, that's where people come together on a Saturday and to learn about SharePoint. And we generally get anywhere from 100 to 200 people showing up on their own time on a Saturday to learn about this product. And what's fascinating is, like I said, you get the same challenges that people are seeing from overseas. So quite often we'll get international speakers coming into Sydney or coming into Adelaide or Brisbane, and they're sharing their frustrations and challenges, and we're finding that the audience has exactly that same, those challenges. This year we've got, for the last 3 years we've actually had Sydney, Adelaide, Brisbane, Perth and Melbourne SharePoint Saturday events, and we plan to have those again this year. We might even include somewhere like Darwin.
That's excellent. That's excellent. And the thing I like about SharePoint Saturdays is it really gives some of the vendors, obviously, who are sponsoring the organization to talk to real customers at a variety of levels in the organization. Do you find, what is the demographic for your events about between developers and IT pros and administrators? How does that break down in there? Mark?
Well, I'd actually say you left out a key component there, actually. And that's that
business users?
Business users or end users.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah, so I'd say 30 to 40% of the audience at any one of these events will be business users, whether that be an end user, a manager, a project manager, or even a financial decision maker. Probably about 25% is your IT pro, and I'd say probably about 30% are developers, and the rest are generally people who are just wanting to get interested and learn more about SharePoint.
Yeah, they're new to the community and they're just kind of getting their feet wet, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Debbie, what do you see with those folks who are new? Do they feel like they have a way to begin to parse through sometimes the overwhelming amount of information that's available about SharePoint? For me, I found that at the beginning, it's like, oh, SharePoint is this huge platform and there's a lot of information available, and how do you know what's important or not?
Yeah, with the actual conferences, we've got probably more of a 50-50 split between the business and the technical audiences, and the business sessions seem to be the most popular. It's like they need the real-world case studies, they need the, even all the technical people, I think it's great how they go to all the business sessions and they can actually understand what people need and what they want. As far as the overwhelming source of information out there, we've actually just started an Asia Pacific community portal as well, which is www.sharethepoint.com, and we're trying to bridge that sort of gap where people can come on, they can get their own My Site in 2013, they can experience all the social features, and they can sort of start from the beginning and then also connect with other people in that area, well, specifically the Asia Pacific area, but also with vendors, with suppliers, find out what products and services are out there, and other people that are in their area that they can specifically connect with. So I think that's a cool thing from a community perspective anyway.
Absolutely, it's great that you were able to band together and create that resource for people, and also both having you both here is also important. I want to encourage anybody who's out there, if you see Debbie or Mark out on the floor or on the expo or in their sessions, get to know them, reach out, be interactive. All of us in the community are interested in helping everyone else, and I think as Dex mentioned earlier, paying it forward. So we want to make sure that you're able to reach out and speak with us whenever necessary. So, and also, won't both of you be over here in the community lounge as well a little bit later on?
From time to time.
From time to time, yeah.
Absolutely.
Community lounge is a great thing that's a new part of the SharePoint conference, and if you haven't visited yet, make sure you get over there and get yourself involved in your local SharePoint user group or SharePoint Saturday event. So thank you so much, both of you, for being with us. Can you tell me, both of you, Debbie, let's start with you, one thing that people don't know about you?
I had to think about this one, and I don't know, some people do know this, but I actually have a farm, which is 8 acres, so we've got 15 alpacas, 3 pigs, about 14 sheep,
wow,
2 goats, dogs, cats.
That's cool.
So it's, typical rural Kiwi lifestyle living.
Very nice, very nice. Alpacas are beautiful. They're beautiful animals, really.
Yeah.
That's great. That's really great. Mark, tell us one thing that people don't know about you.
That's a difficult one. I'm a very public individual. Actually, here's one. At my desk at work, I keep a ukulele on the desk. And whenever I've got a difficult problem, I'll bust out the ukulele and play a song. Yeah.
I think that's great. We could use some ukulele playing, I think, in my office. So
Everyone
anytime you're up in Redmond, you come on along, bring the ukulele with you, right?
Absolutely.
That'll be great. Well, thanks for joining us for this additional segment of SharePoint Television. Remember to check on channel 36 in your room to see the highlights, and come back and join us again. Thanks so much.